Awesome. Beautiful takeoff Tuesday. All right, well, get this thing paused here. There we go. Awesome. Wow, we had an excellent Invest Edge yesterday, and there were some big announcements about an event that's going to be hosted in Salt Lake City. Let's see what we got going on here. Do. There we go. Yep, so there's going to be an E3 round 2. Holy moly, can you believe that? The last one was so successful that they decided, hey, let's put another one up. And so it's coming. When is it? It's going to be in October. I doubt it is on this calendar. No, not yet. Okay, well, all good. I'll tell you the dates right now. It's going to be October 22, or sorry, October 23, 24, and 25. So it's going to be this weekend here. 23, 24, 25. And what a great opportunity to make another couple 100,000, maybe even 1,000,000. Yep, we got a big opportunity. So if you missed the Invest Edge last night, then we encourage you to grab it off the Renatus YouTube channel. I will paste the link here right now. One other thing I'd like to endorse is this YouTube plugin called Unhook. Let me just show you real quick what I mean. Part of the reason why so many people get distracted is the way social media and these platforms have been engineered to chemically hijack your brain. So there's a plugin right here called Unhook, and it hides everything. So when you come to YouTube, all that's at YouTube is a blank screen. No clickbait, no what if, no, nothing like that. Just come straight to the Renatus right here, and we'll go to past live streams. And awesome. This one's on Antonio Lobo, but for some reason they have a picture of Bill Omi on there. Is that real? Let me refresh that. That shouldn't be. Anyway, the link is right up here. Just drop it in the chat. Subscribe to the channel. You can see I'm subscribed. I've only subscribed to like 3 channels. Subscribed with the bell. Okay. So anyway, check that out and get this Chrome plugin called Unhook and stay focused. If you only got 1 hour to work, or 2 hours to work because of how you arranged your life, you need as much focus tools as possible. So anyway, Takeoff Tuesday, folks. Lots of exciting stuff. There's been a pickup in the real estate market. It's been a month since the wild tariffs have been distributed out to the world. I know a lot of people have been following that very closely. Other people are not caring in the slightest about it. And I would encourage you, in the long run, it really doesn't matter. You're here to buy real estate. You're here to buy it at a discount. We're going to auctions and foreclosures and tax liens and deeds, short sales, wholesaling, and we're here to buy discounted properties. So whether the market's going up, the market's going down, the discounts are still there. So watch your classes and be serious about it. And you know, someone who has been an avid proponent of the classes, helping people take the classes, enroll in the classes, improve the classes, make the classes, is one of our trainers for today. Mr. Bill Predebon has been out in the field the last 17 years, and he's had a complete revolution in his life because of the training and the community. Now, when I think about the training and the community, it's two different pieces. I like to equate the training to like a sword where it can cut through all the nonsense so you can get straight to the facts. And I like to think about the community as the shield, help protect you from nonsense that comes your way, rumors and hype and fear and doubt and uncertainty. So you got your shield and you got your sword. And when you are a member of Renatus, you are fully equipped. The only other piece is up to you, which is the action. Taking that action, whether it's watching classes, putting in your offers, showing up to the events, creating your vision boards. I had a visitor come over the weekend, come and spend some time with us. And he said, man, I really like your whiteboards because we put them right in the living room where we write out exactly what we're doing, family, friends, business, opportunity, personal development. And so if you don't have a big vision board or big whiteboard in a very highly visible spot, I highly recommend that. That's going to help program your brain. Someone who's programmed his brain to be a success magnet is Mr. Bill Predebon. When he first got started, he was drowning in debt. He was confused, frustrated, had been lied to by some business partners, and was on his way out of the business world, not sure where to turn to. And someone invited him to our community, said, take a look at what we have to offer here. He showed up to an event, was a little skeptical, but with coachable ears, that message hit him. And he said, you know what? Not only am I going to do this, but I'm going to be a contributor, not just a taker. And over the last 9 years or so, he has really stepped up and hasn't taken a week off that entire time. He's helped run markets in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. He's traveled. He's helped put deals together on both coasts and both borders. He is all over the country, and he's got experience in short-term rentals, long-term rentals, fix and flips, buy and hold, short sales, foreclosures, wholesaling, land development, seller finance notes, private money lending. Very experienced in small deals and big deals, multi-million-dollar deals, as well as small wholesale deals. My point here is that this time that we have together, you can honor that time by preparing good questions, watching your classes ahead of time so we can get some good detailed analysis out there, bringing potential deals to the table we can analyze together, and staying present while we go through this. So as we get into the springtime and summer sales events, there's a lot of opportunity out there, and people are looking for a way to get ahead in life. And they know that government assistance is a joke and that personal responsibility is the way to do it. And Bill embodies that in a big way. So we're really excited to have him here on our call today, Takeoff Tuesday. So let's give a big warm welcome to the man of the hour, Mr. Bill Predebon. Good morning, Bill. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Yeah, thanks for being here. How's your day treating you so far?
I just got up about 30 minutes ago.
So it's going great.
Yep. It's
Excellent.
cloudy. It's cloudy in Arizona, which is a pretty rare. It actually hailed the other day for like maybe a minute. Little tiny hail balls.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty rare in the world of Arizona. Usually I wake up and it is blue skies and sunny. Almost.
Well, I heard a rumor about Phoenix and Scottsdale, and that all the ski birds are selling their properties. Is that the case, or is that just a rumor?
All the snowbirds are selling their properties.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I do know that we are at a normal market, like I talked about a little while ago. As far as like inventory goes, we're back, we're finally at what is a normal amount of inventory for us, which takes 45 to 90 days to sell the inventory, which puts us around 20,000 units on the market. But we're typically selling 6,000 units a month.
I
In
do know the
Arizona.
population is going up too. More people are still moving to Arizona, out of
Yeah,
California.
yeah, about 5 to 6,000 people a month move to Arizona.
That's amazing.
And yep. And so yeah, I didn't know their snowbirds are selling there. I'm not really sure. I hadn't heard that. Where'd you hear that?
On some real estate Twitter X channels. I can send that to you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure. Arizona has become they got a lot of snow up north, so the mountain is open until the 18th of May. So you could hike Camelback in the morning and go up and ski in the afternoon. Pretty cool. Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
um, you know, it wasn't that long ago that northern Arizona, meaning, Sedona, Prescott, um, uh, Flagstaff, Munns Park, um, all of that northern mountainous area, that's only around 2 hour drive, between an hour and a half and 2 hour drive from Phoenix, was typically just a summer escape for a few months out of the year. And now it's definitely almost a year-round destinational area where people are there. It's a great Airbnb place. People are up there for winter events, summer events, and summertime. So it's really become a very popular second home destination area for sure. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're selling their homes in Phoenix area. That's possible. Maybe because, I don't really know why they would be, to be honest. I don't know. So
All
anyway,
right. Well, let me ask you this. We've got a lot of new people, and part of one of the successful steps is to change your warm markets association to you, right? Like no longer do my warm market people call me for oil changes, so to speak. So, what tips, ideas do you have about getting the word out about or for new people, their new real estate business, and some do's and don'ts so that deals can start coming to them from their warm market?
so most of the time, what area was that in Arizona? It's northern Arizona, so it's anywhere. Prescott is probably the closest destination north of. It's up. There's an east and a west side. The west side is Prescott and Cottonwood, Prescott, and then Jerome, Flagstaff, Sedona, and then there's over on the east side. There's Sholo, where the other mountain is, Sholo, and then oh, I can't think of the names up there, but it's northern Arizona. Flagstaff is where Northern Arizona University is. Up by Flagstaff is Munns Park as well, popular area. Okay. With the warm market, so coming from experience, and we'll kind of tap into what I was thinking of. This is a good question, lead in. It's kind of like, what game are you playing? You know, I didn't come up with that term. you know, to play a game, but it definitely depends on the game that you're playing and what you want to do. So when I answer this question, I'll answer through experience. I don't know that there's a right or wrong way necessarily. I mean, social media naturally would come to mind, but uh, I have my own opinions about social media. I think if you're going to be an influencer, it's a different story. I wouldn't know how to be an influencer necessarily, but um, in reality and being genuine, it starts with what you're doing inside, right? What you're doing internally, and I think that's the most important thing is that um, you're making changes first uh, in your own belief system, your own integrity, your own design, and really whatever game that you chose to start to play. And I believe that if you are genuine to that, for example, what I'm talking about is I started going to Thursday night meetings, right? I started to study how to become a real estate a real estate professional. Um, so I wasn't closing deals in the first day or month or even 6 months, right? I was a loan officer and then I was a real estate agent. I wasn't really marketing myself as a real estate, but that's what I was trying to do to make a living. So I was driving to wherever it was at the time that I was a loan officer to an office or to a I was a preferred lender on a building for a while. So I had a job, if you will. And but at that place, and in between, like you, Michael, I would study. And I would go to the classes, I would go to the colleges, we're live, and I would go to the meetings, and I was becoming something else, even though the results weren't there. The money wasn't following yet. None of those things were happening. But internally, I wanted to be a real estate investor. I wanted to flip houses or get involved in buying and selling houses in one way or another. So in doing so, when I would go boating every weekend with our neighborhood and play and stuff like that, um, I wasn't a marketer necessarily yet, but I could talk about intelligently about real estate and about the market, right? And this is during the crash. This is when no one was interested in real estate. So I was learning about what the markets were doing from the education and from the instructors. So I was able to talk intelligently about those things. So naturally, people were drawn to that conversation and would listen because I could actually talk and knew what I was talking about, and it sounded interesting. So I think that with the warm market is that, first of all, you have to become what it is that or you don't have to become, from my experience, it was, that I was changing and growing internally, at home and inside myself, which was then noticeable to my warm market. I think, realistically, Michael, you were probably a little more boisterous about it in the beginning, especially since you got right into the marketing. Well, I guess you didn't get right into the marketing, but you really got into the community. Um, and you were able to share that right away with people at work, but you were also living, breathing it. Like you were showing up. You were changing your clothes. You were starting to transform, and they would recognize that. So I think that's the first way to go about with the warm market, so that you know, and then results would start to speak for itself, and then people would would see that, and then you could share that information, and people then would understand. Your warm market people, your family, they would see that you are now doing something different, that you're no longer just identified as, an oil mechanic, or a mechanic rather. But you know, so yeah, I think that's number one. So it kind of leads into what, and folks, we'll pick up the energy here and chat. And if you have comments, questions, thoughts, then I would definitely just interrupt me or come on out or whatever. I think it's very important that, and you hear me say this all the time, we have to make decisions. I truly believe one of the things that and maybe I'm a little reckless, but we have to decide and then do. And it seems to me that people that are moving forward all the time make decisions quickly. They know necessarily what they want. They don't know what's going to get them there. They don't know what's going to work and not work, but they're not going to say no in fear and then try to backtrack and make up for it. They seem to say yes to opportunity until they do enough due diligence to say no, right? And if they say yes, it creates an opportunity to move forward and improve. How can running meetings in local city can add authority and authenticity? Wow. How can running meetings in local city and how can running meetings in local city can add authority and authenticity? So for me, in my opinion and experience, I don't think Renatus needs authority or authentication. It already is that. It's already authentic, and it commands authority with the amount of education, the quality of the education, and the product itself. The company has an outstanding reputation, has extraordinary awards. You know all this, Eric. I think that I think that running meetings creates the environment that people want to be a part of when joining a real estate investing community or a real estate investing education company. So when you have a meeting, you are able to expose people to not only the education but also people that are using it, having success with it, and have also joined the community, so people can witness that and follow. Um, uh, I do think that naturally, when people give testimony at the meetings, then that does add validity and does create value for the company and the product itself. When you're having them, running meetings, the fastest way to get to 1 million, you feel. So I don't necessarily know that. I don't know that. Number one is I've never made $1 million with the company. The fastest way for $1 million for me is to build a spec home. So the what I do believe in Renatus and getting to the goals that you want to reach, I believe that there was a time when that was the fastest way to money in Renatus, was to have a meeting, invite people, and follow the 5 steps that continuous follow-up that Michael went over yesterday in great detail, which is a great training yesterday. I still think that those 4 money-making activities absolutely are core and important. But if you look at some of the success, Mitch and Maley, Nate Lambert, for a while there, it was the Idaho group. There was a twist. They got creative with running a meeting. It was no longer come down, give an hour and a half presentation, set up a follow-up, introduce them to a couple people that have had success, have a couple testimonies. That the world is always evolving. People are always looking for more. The Witham principle, what's in it for me, is constantly growing. We have become even more so, and this isn't new. This is over the last maybe 2 decades since the internet. Instant gratification, entitled to help, entitled to succeed, entitled to get more for your money, entitled to free things, and there's an expectation of such. So we've had to cater to that. So I think, you know, naturally I think about Nate and then Mitch and Maley and some of their twists and some of their enhancements that they've given to running a meeting. They are not just running a meeting. They are running an event. They are generating momentum. And so I believe that that is the fastest way to $1 million in the marketing, is to add your own twist. Either learn what they're doing, join what they're doing, or mimic what they're doing. And then, you know, make it your own. And I think that seems to be working. It's something Mitch and Maley have been doing for a long time. I think Mitch has always been good at creating momentum at a meeting, where it's not just, he's not just selling the product. They are selling the use of the product. They are selling being inside of the product, and taking the product seriously and putting it to work. And they're demonstrating that on a daily basis. So people want to jump into that pool. They are enrolling people in their beliefs. They are enrolling people in their dreams. They are enrolling people in their thought process and what they believe to be magnificent. And so in anything we do with our family, our friends, it is important to get people to enroll in what we are enrolled in, not just to see it or feel it, but to enroll in it, enroll to where they want to help you do what you're doing, right? When you create something or believe in something and we want to share it with people, we don't just want to tell them, we don't just want to show them, we want them to enroll in it. So when they're out in their own world doing things and something comes up that relates to what you're enrolled in, they're like, oh, you should talk to my friend. He started this, she's doing that, and they have this going on. And they're enrolling people and they're not even enrolled in you, because they're enrolled with what your belief is. So that's what I think would be the fastest way to $1 million, because I believe obviously people like Michael. And so what's interesting is Michael did that, right? When you look back at Michael's success, John's success, Nate's success followed much later. Richard Stock's success, this Utah group, when there was, you know, 8 out of the top 10 were from Utah all of the time. Even 4 out of the top 5 in the 5-star winner circle were from Utah, and from that Elevate team. It's because they all enrolled in the same thing, right? It's because back then it was, you know, see the people tell the story. It was the money-making activities. But what's interesting is they created they created their own little college. They had their own little breakout sessions. They had their own little exclusive groups, right? Where if you only could be in there was a hint of exclusivity. There was so they were enrolled in the system that Michael and John created at that college. And it was magnificent to see. That has transformed, that has expired, that has, run its course. And then you see the evolution of that through Mitch and Maley, Richard Stock's ATM and his group, and of course a little bit of the twist from the Idaho group when they decided to add their flair to their own little thing there for a while. People crave an experience. Walt Disney, 100%. And so if you think about Walt Disney, it would be obsolete if they just kept a damn Ferris wheel and freaking roller coaster, right? Walt Disney, they constantly change and grow and evolve, and they have people enroll in the characters. They have people enroll. It's not even about the rides anymore, right? It's about an experience, like Maley said. That's fantastic, Maley. That's why they're still relevant. You're 100% right. That's why Renatus is still relevant, is because of people that have taken the ball by the horns. They've made a decision on how to market it and put their own twist on it. They've gone away from belly to belly. It's still a people business, but they're not out there just hosting a meeting, having a super Saturday. And and if you look at some of the people that are still doing some of those things, it's not working, but it's a much slower process. And it's a much less exciting process. And so again, we have to evolve with what is the demand. We have to keep up with the demand by supplying the need. We have to feed the expectation of the client. And that's what Walt Disney does every single day. And I can't imagine, the professionals, the geniuses that they have behind keeping up with the times, because that's an old company. That company was based on a freaking ugly ass mouse and a damn, a roller coaster and a gay ass children's ride. And now, yeah, and it's amazing what that is. So yeah. Wow, Anthony, you're a smart man. I'll tell you what, guys and girls, Anthony Mallet is a very smart man. I'll never forget meeting you and your lady first leaders retreat at the Barcelo. Yeah, awesome. Okay, great thought, Michael. Great question.
I have a question if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm always ready.
Okay. Sorry, I'm cooking something in the background. So, I guess for me, this is a time where I'm honing in on a skill that I didn't hone in on in the beginning, because I positioned myself for people to just bring me real estate deals, and it worked for a long time until it stopped, and I wasn't happy with the deals people were bringing me. So I've started getting deals from agents. Like, I made an offer last week. It was so wild. I put in an offer that I thought I'd get countered at, and I thought in my head I would get it at 100,000, and people came in at the asking price, and they got a lot of offers. And I mean, I guess I should thank them, because it wasn't the deal for me. Anyway, so I need to get more deals, and I'm getting deals. I'm still frustrated though, because I'm not getting enough. Hold on, there's very scattered. So what, when you are giving them your buy box, can you talk about that for a second? That's a very simple question. That's all I need to ask. Sorry, I was so scattered.
I hate that. I don't have a buy box. Why would I eliminate opportunity? Right? So the freaking agents ask that stupid question. What are your parameters? What are you looking for? Right? Like they're really going to go out and find a needle in a haystack? No. You think they're going to do that and work for free? No. What area do you like to invest in? I don't know, the area that makes me money, jackass. No, I don't mean it like that, but they're just ignorant to the investor. You know what I mean? If you think about it, an agent is trained to look for a house for somebody that they can afford. How do they know what they can afford? They get a pre-approval, right? And they're put in a damn box, right? Their kids want to go to a certain school, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't even matter. They would take their kids and live in the highest and best area if they could afford it. They can't, right? You and I can afford anything on the planet. We can buy any damn house there is. So I don't want a box, right? There is no buy box. Here's my buy box. Go out and find me a deal. I want you to find me a deal, run the numbers, come back, tell me what you would sell the house for if I fixed it up. And then I'll make my offer according to that. I don't care what the price is. I don't care what they're asking. I don't care what it's sold for. I don't care what the neighborhood looks like, right? I guarantee I'm not going to buy in a kill zone, and I'm not going to buy in a drug zone, right? I just don't want the hassle. Other than that, I'll buy in a poor zone, a rich zone, an expensive zone, a not expensive zone, the number one zip code in the county or the worst zip code in the county. I don't care if it's a deal and I can make money doing it. Right? And I don't have a strategy. I'm not a fix and flipper. I'm not a buy and holder. I'm not a multifamily guy. I'm an all the above. if I can make an offer and make money when I buy it, make money when I hold it, and make money when I sell it, I'm going to buy it. I'll make an offer. I might not be able to buy it. They might not accept my offer, but I'll make the offer. And you're going to do the work and tell me this house, if you bought this house, and they're not going to tell me how much I'm going to make because they don't know what it costs me to fix. They don't know what it costs me to hold. They don't know what it costs me, what I'm even going to do to it, right? As far as like what my use is, my highest and best use. What they do know is that this property is offered at this, and it could sell for that if you do this. That's what I want them to tell me. I want them to find the property that they look in. They probably know their own area much better than they probably specific cater to a certain client in a certain price range for their buyers, and they sell houses in a certain area for the most part. So they can find the house in their own area, and they probably know the area. So there's no buy box.
All right, got it.
Yep. I want them to bring me a house. I want them to bring me a seller. I want them to bring me an idea, right? Everybody in a boardroom, in a business meeting, in a corporation has people that are idea people. How are we going to grow? How are we going to double the numbers? How are we going to improve next year by 20%? How they want you to come up with the idea, and then the CEO and all the other people will get together and figure out how to do it legally. Then they're going to dictate to all the engineers and all the manufacturers and all that stuff on how to do it, right? They're going to crunch, the mathematicians will crunch the numbers and see what it's going to take to do R&D, and then they're going to do it. But they need the idea person. So I want all these people to bring me an idea of a concept of a deal, right? And then I will decide what I'm going to make the offer on, and all they have to do is go back and make the offer.
I will say that something that I do. Good morning, everyone, by the way. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, girl.
Just had to go work out, so don't, judge the the face. But something that I will ask my agents to hopefully maybe add to what, because again, no buy box, right? Like I just want to make money. Like I love that. But the key is agents they're not smart, right? I mean, they just don't know what you need, and they have no idea to understand that. And so the only way that I feel like that I've been able to get through to them is just that one question, which is, can there be like a way for the home to get fixed up? Is there room for this neighborhood, for this specific house to be remodeled or to be transitioned into a duplex or whatever it might be? Is there a way to add value to this house? If not, don't send it to me. I don't want pretty. Don't send me pretty unless they're in a troubling situation, right? Like if there's problems, send it to me. That's my buy box, right? If there's problems and I can create a solution, send it to me. Or if it's ugly, send it to me, right? Like, but if agents are like, oh yeah, like this, you could improve this house by doing little tiny things and you could totally improve it. No, you can't, right? If it's already got granite and it's already got white cabinets or whatever, right? It's pretty simple, and agents do get that concept. Send me ugly. Send me ugly or send me problems. And then I feel like that solves their problem in their head of what you're trying to see. Because for them, they honestly don't understand ARV. They really don't even, it takes them coming down to like a meeting or you doing like an ARV training with them. And I'll actually do that. We do a ARV training every Monday at noon, just so you know, on our Investor Secret Network. So feel free to jump in on that or send your agents to it, because I feel like that's super helpful to make them understand what an ARV is. Like they don't have a clue. They don't get taught that in any brokerage that I've ever seen, except for mine and maybe yours, right? Like they just don't get taught that. So I do think that educating them is super helpful if you really want them to send you good deals. And then, Tamara, I'm going to tell you, go find the deals yourself. You don't have to rely on other people. There's so many freaking deals out there. So just a thought. And join the challenge so that you know how. I love you. Bye. Thanks, Bill. You're awesome. I love you.
Yeah, you too, girl. That's great. It's just great information. And it comes from experience, guys and girls. And I can look around this group of people, and there's a lot of experience here. So feel free to chime in, if anybody else has that, wants to add to that, or has any wants to elaborate with any questions or thoughts on it. Yeah. So, again, when it comes to the business, Tamara, yeah, if, we can keep going, Tamara, and wherever you want to go. South Carolina. And oh, you're doing South Carolina now? I like New Jersey.
Yeah, I've been in South Carolina for like a couple years now.
Yeah. Call up an agent on the Barnegat Bay that just had the fires, man. Let's buy a house on Barnegat Bay.
Huh. I don't know where that is. I'll look. I'm looking.
Those fires that were just on the Jersey Shore?
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, up that whole coast there.
Oh, yeah.
We need to teach these agents how to be investor agents, brokerage. Eric, yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time teaching somebody something necessarily. If you want them to join Renatus, that's a different story. I really want to limit the agents. Like she said, she kept it very simple, right? She didn't teach them. She's teaching them the concept of ARV, but she's just kind of giving them a simple instruction. It's either this or this. If not, don't bring it to me, right? So keep it simple there. And she's not teaching them how to fix and flip and how to be an investor mindset and stuff like that. If they're joining Renatus, that's a different story. But agents, there's a lot of reasons, or there's very few reasons that people become an agent. I think, and there's a very good reason why the majority of agents don't make any money. Right? Because they literally don't take it as a business. They decided to be an agent. They did not decide to create a business, right, around real estate. So when you decide to be an agent, you simply go to a place that's going to train you to be an agent. And the only thing the brokerage is training agents to do is a numbers game, right? They just want to get volume done. So that's like a prosecutor. It's settle the case as fast as possible. Get the person to make an offer on a house for whatever they can afford. And that's the extent of it. Or sell the house for what it's worth. Right? Get the listing, sell it in a couple of days so they can market that. We sold this house the fastest, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. So anyway, I like agents because they can scour the MLS and they spend a lot of time. It's like their own form of social media. They spend a lot of time on it. And there's a lot of information and a lot of opportunity on the MLS. So I hate the MLS. I don't want to spend time on the MLS. I don't want to look on the MLS, but yet it has the most properties for sale in the world. So I'd rather have somebody else looking on the MLS to find me the houses. There are agent only that work for commissions, and there are agents that understand the game and start building a portfolio. Yeah. Yeah. Lily has a lot of experience. I think Lily, you're an agent, right, Lily?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I was too. My wife's an agent for me now, or not. She just did it because during COVID, she's like, I think I'll get my license again. We were both licensed way back when and let it go. But yeah, do you have any thoughts, comments, questions, experiences, Lily? I know you have a wealth of knowledge and experience. Everybody, Lily Scott, by the way, is just amazing in the Utah market. So yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
thank you for
Bill.
the introduction.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
So I just real quick saying yes, when dealing with agents, asking how many properties they have or how many, if they have any investments, because as you said, a lot of agents only have a commission breath. But if you get a chance to work with someone that really understands how to build wealth, then they will be on your side. Just that.
Yep. That's a great point. I absolutely couldn't agree more. Same thing with my lawyer and my accountant, do you have investment properties? Like that means they understand it. I mean, so that's just a great point. Even if they have one, you know, they have the understanding of the value of real estate as an investment. So, all right.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Michael actually mentioned like yesterday that he wanted Maylee to talk about the event or whatever it is they were doing. I think it was like the weekend or some. So I know he mentioned that yesterday. So I don't know if Maylee heard that, but I just wanted to mention that because Michael mentioned that yesterday.
Oh, I did not hear it. Unfortunately, I jumped on probably just after he talked about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he actually talked about it towards the end, which, we did not have any time because he had to get on the impact. So, yeah. So he wanted to talk about your
what was your
success.
event called this weekend? It was
The
Bailey,
Ultimate Real Estate Accelerator.
Accelerator. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
Um,
it was great.
and you guys held it at your office?
No, we actually held it at corporate. We were too
Oh,
big
that's
for
right. It
our
was at
office.
corporate. That's right.
Yeah.
And what was
We're-
it?
So it was basically really an intensive, for a lack of a better, term. We brought in Jason Andrews to, teach us his breadth of knowledge around fix and flips to kind of launch the First Flip Challenge season 4. Now, it didn't launch season 4. It was an accelerator. So it's to help people know what it is, know what what they're going to be learning, the commitment that they're going to be in, help them understand and get to know the community, right? Just the whole experience to let them see what they would be joining if they did sign up with Renatus today. And so we did do like a fun call to action at the end, right? If they put $1,000 down, then, they got the First Flip Challenge season 4 for free. Well, to complimentary to their 5-star who will pay for it, which was awesome. And that's a $600 value. So I do feel like that created some excitement there. And we ended up having 122 people show up, which was wild. Like, we busted the seams at Renatus corporate. Like, we couldn't fit one more person in there if we wanted to, I don't feel like. So it was awesome.
So you sold Renatus there, or you sold the
Yes.
fix and flip?
No, we sold Renatus. Yep, the $26,000 combo. We don't sell anything else, so people don't know that that's even an option. And the reason is because we don't feel like anybody should be doing real estate if they just have essentials. So it's doing them a huge disservice, and they can't do the challenge unless they have their full Epics combo, because
Sure.
the system that we put them through requires them to watch about 6 of the classes in essentials, 4 of the classes in the business systems, and then obviously their track that they choose for AIT. So whether it's the buy and hold track, fix and flip track, short-term rentals track, whatever they're choosing to do during the challenge is the track that they have to watch. So. And I'm on a bicycle, so if I sound out of breath, that's why. I'm going up a mountain.
The accelerator was great online, except for the communication between us being able to ask questions, and we couldn't see the whiteboard. I requested it many, many times.
Unfortunately, there was no way to do that because we had no AV team there to support us. So corporate, unfortunately, didn't have any support there, which, it's not their job to do that, but unfortunately, they're the only ones that can do it. So I had our AV team there, but that's not,
yeah.
they
Is there a recording of that available or no?
No, nope. So it
No,
was an
okay.
in-person only type event because we wanted to create that scarcity.
True.
Which, now or never, let's get to it.
What did Richard come up at the very end? Because I got kicked off after Mitch.
No, right after Mitch, we essentially just closed out.
Okay, all right. So I didn't miss that. All right, I thought they were going to go over the funding, find the money.
Oh yeah, so he did that in a private area in
Okay.
yeah, so it wasn't part of the Zoom.
Otherwise, it was awesome.
Yay! Good, good, good.
Okay.
Yeah. So mainly out of 120, how many signed up?
So we had 66 guests in the room, and the rest were
Okay.
already students. Out of the 66 guests, I think 22 people put down $1,000, or
Oh,
at
wow.
least set up the one-on-one to put the $1,000 down. So yeah,
Oh,
so far those are the
that is
numbers that
awesome.
I'm seeing. Not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that is awesome. So a quick question for you too. I've heard that I think it might have been Eric and Nancy. They were talking with Mitch about. I don't know if they're talking about the 90-day challenge that you guys are having. Do you know if they're gonna be mirroring it, here in Chicago? Because I know we're starting here in June, and is it gonna be kind of like how you guys are doing it there, or do you know, or?
I mean, I know that Mitch was very transparent and tried to show him what we were doing and how, he structured the back end. I will tell you that Mitch is a genius, so for people to
Yes,
try
yeah.
and
You guys are.
oh, you're sweet. So for people to try and mimic, what he created, it might be difficult. To be just honest, but he did spell it out for him. So hopefully they can come pretty close to it and you'll have the same success. And regardless, I'm sure it'll be awesome.
Right. Okay, cool. So,
But
well,
you
thank
can
you.
do the first flip challenge from anywhere. So um the Idaho team, they've actually picked up the first flip challenge as well. So
Okay.
like Jason and Kendall and everybody, they start June 5th with us for the challenge. So anywhere across the nation, people
Yeah,
can
I
jump
think,
in.
yeah, I think because even Antonio Lobo, he was on Invest Edge last night, and I think they have one over there in, I don't know if it's in Atlanta now or like in Florida, somewhere around those areas. And so, yeah, that would be great because I think, having that, it definitely, you know, it gives people the urgency. So oh, I gotta get this done.
Yeah, it's accountability, right? It's
Yes.
just, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great news. That is something to look into, folks. Like I said, I think that's it's pretty cool. They, made a decision to create opportunities to enhance their marketing, and it's paying off. And I think it comes back to what game do you want to play? How big of a game do you want to play? Do you want to enroll one person at a time? There's nothing wrong with that. You talk to a warm market and go to a meeting and set a follow-up, and it's a system and a process. And if it doesn't work out, then you start with the next person. Or, you decide to play a bigger game. You want to have 10 people to follow up with, or whatever the case is. So, yeah. And same thing with, whatever you're doing, you have, and typically we're playing more than one game. We're playing the game of life in general, but we're playing a game of, making money consistently through our job or our business or work or whatever it is. We're playing a game of family, and then you make a decision to enhance whatever it is that you want to enhance. If it's your income at the time, if it's your future, your retirement, if it's your legacy for your children, so they don't have to go through what you had to go through. Those are decisions that have to be made, first and foremost. And then you do what's necessary to make that happen. The good news is you're in a spot where, in my belief and in my experience, Renatus offers all of the solutions to all of those decisions, right? In many different ways. There are lots of ways for Renatus to generate and solve or enhance all of those issues and all those decisions, with the education, with the community, with the marketing, with the entire Renatus well cycle. So you don't have to necessarily get another resource. You know, and every day, I think it's important that you play the game. You know, when you're not playing the game, you get rusty, and then you got to warm up again. You know, and it takes time to warm up. You can't just go out and start hitting the ball or you know, talking to people and making offers when you're not in the game. You can't take that time off. You got to commit to it. It becomes who you are, right? Just like your daily life, you don't take time off of your children or your animals or your job to speak of, right? You know, if you think about when you take time off of a vacation from a job, right? Fortunately, jobs don't require you in most cases to work while you're on vacation. No cell phones ringing, no emails are done, right? Unless you're a salaried employee of a corporation, right? You are on vacation. Why do you not have work every day while you're on vacation? Because you don't care about the freaking job, but you care about your children, you care about your family, you care about your business. So you may take a vacation, but you don't take a vacation from your business, right? Until we're at a point where we can fly to Mars like Elon Musk and not worry about making money, right? He's spending money flying to Mars and comes back with more money in his pocket than when he left. And he probably blew up the rocket too at the same time and still has more money. That's a different type of business. That's a different position. For the rest of us, it's like weight training. I mean, it's very similar. I think everything, you know what's crazy, you guys? There used to be a show called The Biggest Loser. And fortunately for me, I've never been obese, but I loved the show. I loved the trainers. And there were more lessons to be learned in that show that related to business and to life than I ever thought. And, you know, I thought it would just be entertaining, and it was, but I'm telling you, I got some of my best material to train at the Thursday nights and for myself from that type of environment. And that deals with, you know, probably one of the biggest, epidemics in the country and the world is the problem with overeating and weight and you know, and health. And you're absolutely right, Eric. It is, you know, we cannot, what's cool about it though, what's cool about inconsistency is it's never too late to start again. It's never too late to decide and do. Things are reversible. Our bodies are amazing. Our brains are amazing. We can transform from any condition. And that's absolutely true with business. There are millions of rags to riches stories. There are millions of stories of, you know, rising from the ashes, or, you know, just coming out of normalcy, right? Where people have made a decision and then they get complacent, or something happens in the world, or the crash happens, and they start again. Just like when you start to work out, life gets in the way, you choose that you're okay. And then you need to go back at it because you fell off the wagon, right? I love the analogy with weight training, with being in the gym. I can't describe, you guys. To me, being at the gym, it just creates so much energy. I work the majority of the time at the gym. I'm either on the Invest Edge, I'm on a business call, or I'm listening to something that has to do with work. And I take calls and texts, you know what I mean, in between. But when I leave the gym, I have more energy than you could. I never take a nap. I've never napped in my life. I never don't fall asleep when I hit the bed and I wake up most of the time pretty energized. And I sleep pretty good. I think that has to do with my diet as well, but most importantly, I think it has to do with exercise. You take off too long, those first 2 weeks back on as a grind. Yep. The first 2 weeks are, and to be honest, I go to the gym. I went to the gym on Monday and I did not want to go. Like I walked into the gym and I was like, I'm just going to take it easy today. I'm not going to lift hard. I'm just going to, it was chest day. And I'm like, if I could just get like 30, I ended up working out an hour and 15 minutes. And 15 minutes into the thing, I was lifting my heaviest weights. It just feels so, it's just a whole different mindset. So, it's good. Anyway, I got 8:11. We can get into any real estate questions, and or thoughts, comments, questions before we take off. The idea is that, I would just take a look and see what game you're playing and what game you want to play and where you want to be. And, that there's nothing that a little, money can't help with. And fortunately, the compensation plan, creates some opportunities to have a little extra money, and it really sets you back, or sets you up, I should say, and gives you opportunity to breathe and then find some clarity. So, I like the idea of the marketing. You heard me say that, but, I would decide, if you think about it, when you look at, Michael Huggins, there was a decision that was made for him to create a team, to build a community, not only in Utah and then in Colorado and now in Tennessee. And there was a decision that, he wanted to have a business that generated passive income, override income, massive income, right? And then, you take it a little further and you look at Mitch and Maley and what they're creating. They made a decision that they were going to come back to Renatus with a vengeance and not only do it for themselves, but do it for a bunch of people, right? They wanted to get a bunch of people to enroll in what their vision was, that, maybe those people didn't have their own vision, right? They didn't have their own, they were looking for something more, right? It's interesting. For some people, Renatus is enough. Renatus is definitely the core and the foundation, but so it's up to us to decide what it is we want to do, where we want to take it, what game we want to play, and to play. And what's interesting is, like I said in the beginning, the entrepreneurs, successful people, I don't know the right term, people that seem to have what they want, or that maybe not have what they want, people that are following their dreams, right? People that are going after it. People that may look successful, but whatever, everybody has their own issues. They constantly are making decisions, saying yes, and then changing, adapting, right? Just because you play one game, doesn't mean it's going to be the game that you're going to play forever, but it's a game that's going to get you to the next level, to the next game, right? To the next level of, of the tournament, to the next, the next category. So, and you'll be able to make that decision. You'll be able to decide that this is no longer going in the direction you want it to go to. This is no longer going to get you where you want to go. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to join this game. I'm going to create this game. I'm going to, and so just think about it. When I'm talking about game, if you don't know what I mean, I'm talking about, who you're playing with. Are you gonna play a game of owning a business, starting a business, running a marketing business? Are you gonna play a game where you're teaching this to your kids? Are you gonna play a game where, you want to be the head of the household? You want to make the most money. You want to, set up your retirement with buy and hold property. Whatever it is, do you want to take people with you? You know what I mean? Those are all different games within a game. So anyway, once you decide, what the end's going to look like, you can start from the beginning. You take off. Yeah. Just checking. Okay. Any other thoughts, comments, questions?
Melly, when's your next challenge start?
June 5th. June 5th. Sign up now.
Thank you.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
There's a couple questions for you.
Sorry, on a bike, really out of breath.
No, we got
Yeah,
it.
workout. But yes, come play with us. So Michael Huggins has the link to register for the Investor Secret Network. You do have to be a part of the Investor Secret Network to come play, just because that's where we host the season. So all content, all communication, the entire program is embedded inside of the Investor Secret Network. And bonus, you get a lot of other bonuses with the community, be able to communicate, raise capital, share deals, jump in deals together. Most wholesalers in our community are in that community. They drop those wholesale deals in there first, which is just like another bonus. It's $1. So jump in there, go check it out. And then the first thing that pops up right when you get inside of there is it says register for the first flip challenge, and it'll tell you a little bit more about that. Okay, y'all.
Perfect.
Cool. Jasmine says, when you feel like you're doing all the right things in real estate, but you still don't feel like you're going anywhere, how do you ask someone to be your mentor? Well, first of all, when you feel like you're doing things right and they're not going the way you want, it's kind of like 3 feet from gold. You know, you double down, number one, and you press on regardless. I should find that training, that press on regardless training. That was a good training. So, secondly, I think if you want a mentor, you just ask. You know, you may want to vet your mentor, but I think most importantly, you know, you want to decide what your mentor is going to do for you, and then you can choose your mentor based on what you're looking for and what help you need, right? I don't think any mentor is a bad choice to have, but you may have to go through some mentors to get to the one that's going to break through. The other thing is, I think mentors are important. And we all may define mentor differently. You know, coach, mentor, you know, leader. You know, I would say, but I would challenge you to get one sooner than later, and you can always leave that one and realize what you don't want in a mentor if it doesn't work. So first of all, I would just ask. So if that's your real question, how do you ask someone to be your mentor? You just ask. But if you want to be more specific, then you want to define what you're why you want a mentor and what you expect of that mentor, right? There should be an expectation not only of the mentor of you, but you of your mentor. So that way you can then perhaps choose that mentor. But you know, I definitely feel like if you have the Epics combo in Renatus, that all of those coaches are mentors. And I think a business coach would be a good idea, or a partner, not necessarily a partner in your actual business, like you put them on your LLC, but someone that is looking to go the same ways you can bounce ideas off of. And then, you know, if you're drawn to one in particular instructor, then I would potentially ask that instructor. Chris Wilson for me was one that I really appreciated. I just really bonded. Plus, he was convenient because he was right here in Arizona, so I could call him up and I could meet him at Denny's, buy his lunch, and spend some time with him. I hope that answered. Michael might also be able to answer that better or as well. I was reading somewhere that 400K income is a good income goal, where you don't worry about a lot of life mishaps and can invest without risk. I was thinking, hell, that's only 33 epic combos. That's a good point. I think that statement is dangerous. I don't think you can invest without risk at all, ever. I don't even think you can save without risk. So I don't know where that comes from. I know you didn't say it, but I also don't know. I think that 100 grand a year for some people, for a particular person is very comfortable and they won't have to worry about life. So I think it all depends. My household income is significantly more than that, and I worry about life every freaking day and my investments all the time. So I don't know what it ever looks like to be that. I would say that if you're making income from a business that you are silent in, from some sort of investment where it is generating a double-digit return for you at the very least, without having to work on it at all, then and you have enough coming out to pay. I'm not talking about rental real estate, because that is not a passive investment. Anybody that tells you otherwise, like if you own a portion of an apartment complex and you're generating 10,000 a month and you never have to operate, and you're literally you know, a limited partner, then perhaps that's good enough. And if that pays your bills, then maybe that statement would be true. But there's no passive. Even if you hire a property manager and you have a good one, you are not a passive investor with your real estate, because the real estate that's gotten you to where you are is not going to get you to where you go. It's not what you're going to end up with, right? It's constantly, that's why there is 1031, right? Unless you want to stay stagnant. And if you're not fixing your building, you've got to make the decisions. Then your depreciation is going to be the exact, because the house will depreciate. That's why they give you depreciate, because over time it turns to shit, unless you're paying for it to fix up, which means you have to be active in that investment. So think about that. This is helpful. You're welcome, Jasmine. Oh, cool. And then Maylee's got some great info. You will also have 5 people on your accountability team to help you be motivated and focused. Oh, the challenge includes our mentorship. There you go. And coaching. And there's a sign up. There you go. All right. Well, thanks for the questions and thoughts and comments and participation and influence. And thank everybody else for listening. God forbid. Couldn't do this without you, to be honest. I actually probably could. I could put a mirror, hang it over my desktop and look at it and talk to myself and give myself all the gratification and satisfaction and validation that I need.
Awesome.
It would not be the same, folks. I would not do that. Trust me. All right.
Hey, well, we're on to something great, guys and gals. We got the challenge coming up. We got live education week in 2 weeks. Plenty of opportunities to build for, get your deals, get your customers, grab as much money from the economy as possible. We're in an honest and ethical business model, so you can rest assured everyone that you sell to is going to get what they pay for and then some. So go after it. Go after it like there's no tomorrow, I think is the phrase they say. Make hay while the sun shines.
Hey, Michael.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to share something. Scott Rowe showing the BBB this morning, and there's no complaints, for Renatus. So it's just awesome. So
Nice. Yep.
there used to be one, but now there's 0. So
On to something great, folks.
yes,
Keep up the good
absolutely. Thank you.
Laura, I would say they're not even in the same ballpark to your question. Mitch and Maylee are working with students within the Renatus education, or community members. They've created a program, a fix and flip challenge, to get people into their first deal or second deal in a certain period of time. It creates urgency. There's a lot of support. There's some direction. There's some you're doing it together. There's some community, all those things. I don't really know anything about the Bob and Woody coaching that they're doing, but that's very specific to what, you know, that probably has a lot more to do with the marketing than real estate, number one. But, you know, Mitch and Maley obviously have the, you know, the underlying premise, the hidden agenda is marketing in the fix and flip challenge, which is ironic and very interesting, very positive. So I think they're completely two different things. I may be talking out of my ass, but I would say you should do both. You know? But yeah.
Yeah,
Did they
one,
talk about that yesterday on Vest Edge at the end?
yeah, what they're referring to is the Drive quarterly event.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, sure, it's mentoring, but it's more of your psychology overall versus how you do your deals and build a real estate business.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Well, let's get to work. We got our marching orders, we got our schedule. Opportunities abound. It's just a matter of how many people are you going to talk to. That's what you're in direct control of. So go, you know, face your fears, chase your dreams, challenge your limiting beliefs, and watch the magic happen. Thanks, Bill.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Have a good
Quick
morning.
one, with the second E3, does that mean they're no longer regionals? Or they're still going to be regionals?
This will be in place of regionals.
I thought that's what I heard, but I just wanted to share.
Yep.
Yep, you got it. Awesome. Thanks, guys.